Hey there, welcome back to the Win a Pageant podcast. I'm your coach, Alicia Darby. Now, this episode features a client of mine who agreed to 3 specific things: to be coachable, to be vulnerable, and to have her coaching session recorded and published in order to help you. So I know that a lot of women who haven't had pageant coaching before don't really know what to expect or how much can you really even get done in 30 minutes. So this client of mine agreed to have her session recorded in order to show you what gets done and how it gets done during a virtual coaching session. Okay, so I want you to listen to this call from 2 different perspectives. First of all, I want you to think, could pageant coaching, especially virtually, even be something that could help you in your pageant prep? I want you to be thinking about that. At the end of the video, I'll tell you how you could make that a reality for you. The second thing that I really want you to pay attention to is I want you to think the things that I'm sharing with her, the coaching that I'm giving her, how can you apply that coaching to your own pageant prep, okay? What are the things that she's learning in this and the skills that she's developing and the strategy that she's learning? How can you apply that to yourself? I'm so grateful that this client allowed me to record this call because I know a lot of the things that she learned during this call will support you in your pageant prep. So sit back with an open mind, maybe get a notepad and a pen handy because a lot of this coaching is going to apply to you too, all right? Enjoy. So let's go ahead and dive in. Tell me how I can help you today.
Okay, well, first off, I'm just going to geek out for a minute because you're like right there and you're talking to me. So I just have to get that out of the way and just like calm myself.
Good. I'm glad we finally get to talk. I know you are so active in our Facebook group for the Win a Pageant and also for the Virtual Pageant Summit. I'm like, Jennifer's the mayor in this group. Like, it's awesome. You seem to know everybody and you're like chatting with everyone. I'm like, this is great energy. So thank you for doing that. It's awesome.
No problem. Well, it's funny because for some reason in our system, like all the ladies are jumping on to Win a Pageant. So like all the ladies for Mrs. Indiana are
they're there. It's awesome.
So it's fun.
I know.
So I'm like, yay, thanks for coming.
It's so fun. I know. I owe somebody a thank you letter. I don't know who invited everybody, but
I think we all just talked and we were just like, oh yeah, have you tried? And they're like, yeah.
That's great.
And so
you guys have a good community. Yeah, that's good reflection on that pageant to be that everybody's really like so intimate. Yeah. Cool. So tell me, how can I help?
Okay, well, I just have a problem with my nervousness. So like I have a plan. I have a great legacy project. I feel confident in it. I feel good about who I am, but it's just getting that across to the judges in 6 minutes.
Yes, that's right. I know it's so short, and some pageants have even less, like 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. So you're lucky. 6 isn't too bad. I know, right? It's crazy. So, okay, this is great. So quickly, just tell me a little bit about your platform, and also, like, I don't know which comes first, whichever. Also, tell me why this pageant or pageantry in general. Like, how are you going to leverage that?
Okay, so my platform is empowerment through education. So my background is I came from a very low income family. I wasn't going to have the opportunity to go to college without some scholarship. Mm-hmm. And I was lucky enough to get several different smaller scholarships that added bigger so that I could get my bachelor's degree in nursing. And so I'm a nurse because of my scholarships that I received. Otherwise, who knows what road I would have been, right? Yeah. So I just really want to promote that. And so one of the things I have done is an organization that I'm involved in called Bring It, Push It, Own It. It's an organization that gives self-empowerment to our younger generation. We help girls ages 9 to 18. And we do workshops, we do obstacle courses. Like, it's so much fun. And to show these young girls, like, you can do things and here's all these tools, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, well, this is the perfect environment to give back a scholarship to these type of girls. Cause that was me. I was not confident. I came from a lower income family, and that's what a lot of these girls are. Yeah. So I started just for this year. I just came on this year for it. So this year I started a scholarship program where I designed these shirts right behind me.
Oh, okay.
Myself and girl power. And then I got a guy shirt that says ladies first.
Oh,
so the guys
fun.
can, play in. And so I
Yeah.
sold these T-shirts like all different places, and I ended up raising $1,000
Wow.
to give to a girl for the Bring It, Push It, Own It scholarship.
Wow.
And yeah, so I designed the shirts. I funded the shirts, and then giving it all back to a
Yeah.
girl in need for
I
their
want to buy a shirt. Where do you go to buy these shirts? Where do you have them?
Well, I do have it on my Poshmark, but I can always just, bill you.
Nice.
So
So wait, so you can sell these straight through Poshmark? This is
yeah, you can.
great.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this. Okay, how do you go to Poshmark? Where do I go? Or
Oh
like,
my
I know
goodness. I
Poshmark,
have
but
to
what do
get,
I look up? Yeah, find your
yeah. Let me
username
get my
or,
handle.
okay,
I'm so
perfect.
bad at that stuff. Like I feel like I should know, but I don't.
Yes, you
Oh,
will. You will. Okay.
so my handle is, this makes me laugh that I actually put this. It's Waltz Girl 20. So
Okay.
it's WALTSGIRL 20.
Okay.
That's my
Okay,
handle.
that's good.
And that's
Okay.
that goes way back. My husband and I have been together for 20 years, and his nickname is Walt, and so
Oh,
I'm Walt's
cute.
girl.
Oh, that is adorable. You are so cute. I love you. This is great. Waltz Girl 20. Cute. I love this. Okay, this is beautiful. So you sold the shirts. You made,
Yes,
how much did you make again? $1,000?
$1,000.
That's excellent. Okay. And have you already delivered the scholarship? Have you selected somebody and delivered it yet or not yet?
I've made the guidelines for it, and we're getting ready to
Okay.
post it, and so the winner will be selected in August.
Okay,
So
excellent.
the August 15th, the winner will be announced.
Okay, excellent. Perfect. Oh, this is great. Okay, so then let me ask you this. What would be the next goal? So I'm envisioning, like, should you win your next pageant, you're going to have a bigger goal, probably sell
Yes.
more shirts, have more scholarships. What's the next step?
So the next step is to branch out to other organizations, because anyone can do that. That's what's so beautiful about
Yeah.
this. Like, it doesn't have to end with me. It's a ripple effect that can just go on and on and on.
Yes.
And I can help other organizations get set up. And there's lots of different ways. You don't have to do just T-shirts. You could do something simple as a silent auction, which is going to be my next year's thing. I'm, going to
Okay.
change it up. I'm going to do a silent auction at our, we have a big event once a year to raise money. And so next year I'll do a silent auction. So other organizations can simply do this at their big fundraiser that they have. Usually people have dinners and that sort of thing. And it's such an easy thing to do, to have other places donate little items and then have them for the silent auction. And then whatever proceeds you get from that can go on to someone who has a need for the funding for schooling.
Yeah, this is great. Okay, what other ideas are in that brain of yours?
Well, you mean to raise money? I mean, other
Yeah.
organizations, a lot of times there's big tax deductions for people to donate. So corporations can get involved and say, hey, I'll donate $5,000, and then they get a tax break.
This is
And then
great.
they get their name on it as well, saying they're doing positive community promotion.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to limit also. I want to go back to the scholarship. I don't want it to limit to just college. I'm also promoting that whether it be a technical school, because there's a great need for other things like plumbers, HVAC, or cosmetology. I mean, whatever your skill is that you want to develop, I want you to help go forth and do that.
This is cool. So, okay, you have a skill set and an interest that most people, particularly people in pageantry, don't have or don't or feel intimidated by growing, and that is fundraising. There are so many people that have such big visions and big goals and need the funds to do it, but they don't have the acumen to raise funds. They don't know how to do event planning like your silent auction. They don't know how to do those things. Some people don't want to learn because they're like, I don't know, that's not my thing. Like, I'm bad at sales, they would say, or oh, that's not my, they just want to do public. But if you like fundraising, then that's amazing. And I would stick with that because it's an awesome thing. And I love that it is quantifiable, So you can set really clear goals. Like, okay, I already raised $1,000 in the next 3 months. I want to raise this. In fact, by the way, first of all, how did you, like, who was buying these shirts? Like, how were you promoting it? And how long did it take to raise the $1,000?
Okay, so I did a few different things. So a lot of times there's like craft shows, or there's lots of organizations have like lunch bazaars that you can go to, and they have many different vendors there and things to promote. So like we have a medical alliance here that I'm involved with, and so I jumped on their bandwagon to go to their vendor sites. And it was also to promote Bring It, Push It, Own It, the nonprofit organization I'm involved in, to show like what we are doing to get the word out and say, hey, this is awesome. This is an amazing thing that we're doing for these young girls. You need to hear about it. Yes. And then on top of that, hey, why don't you buy a t-shirt? This will help give a scholarship to a girl. So that's how I did. It took about 6 months. 6 months to sell.
That's not bad. Yeah. And now you have a strategy for it and a system for it. You've already got the designs created. You've already got the contacts and things that you need. Okay. So if somebody else, like let's say I want to do that for the nonprofit organization that I'm associated with. If I came to you and said, how did you do it? Would you have to sit down and like tell it to me? Or do you already have like an owner's manual, like a guide that you could say, here's how?
I could do either, whatever they felt comfortable with. It wouldn't take me long to make, a step-by-step thing. Or if they want me to design certain shirts, I would be happy to do that. Or if they want to use my design, more than welcome to. And then also if they didn't even have the connections, I have a t-shirt guy that'd be happy, to get that business. And
okay, this is good. So what I would love to see, so when you originally mentioned empowerment through education, the very next thing that you said was like, you were telling it in a timeline. So you said, I'm a part of Bring It, Push It, Own It. Here's what that is. And then you said, then I created these t-shirts. I sold them. I have $1,000 scholarship. And then here's what I'm going to do next. It's fine to talk about it chronologically, but I think what might serve you better and help you to, because your goal is to like, try to like, how do I not have to say all the things, because you can't say like, we're already 10 minutes into this conversation, right? So you're like, how do I communicate all this? Just the tips of the iceberg, right? Yeah. So I'm going to practice saying it out loud, and we're recording this. You're going to get a copy of the recording, so you'll be able to hear it. Let me just see what I might say. Would be like, empowerment through education is a fundraising initiative to develop scholarships for women. I started with a nonprofit that I'm already a part of and was able over the course of 6 months to raise $1,000 in scholarships selling t-shirts. My next activity will be my next initiative or my next fundraising adventure or something like that you could say would be to organize a silent auction, right? To organize a silent auction in order to raise $5,000 in a scholarship. As I'm doing this, I'm creating the template that others can implement for their own nonprofits. So I would love to see organizations doing this around the world where they could easily use my people who are not interested in fundraising, or they don't know how to do it, or they wouldn't know where to start, or that they're intimidated by it. They would be able to follow my guides, and they would be able to implement that for their organization to raise funds for them. Empowerment through education, it provides scholarships to women and men. Is it also men? Just young people in general?
We actually just opened a male division, so it will. We can go to men too.
Perfect. So empowerment through education gives scholarships in order to provide education. Mm-hmm. So instead of getting in the weeds of the name of Bring It, Push It, Own It, which I love the name of it, but we don't need to get in the weeds of that. We just need to know it's a nonprofit and that you raised, and instead of getting into the weeds of the t-shirt with the designs and how you sell it and stuff, we don't need to get in the weeds of it. Just stay high level. Now that you get all of this out, once you say all of that, and you're going to have to practice that. Like you'll have to practice saying that in the mirror, say it over and over, say it anytime you talk to someone. Oh, what I'm working on right now is da 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 da. Like you don't want it to be memorized. You really want it to just be like, if somebody's like, hey, how's like right now it's so popular to be like, hey, how's your family doing? Like, how's everybody doing staying indoors? And we've all sort of got our like story of like, oh, we're doing good over here. Like I'm keep yelling at the kids, but everybody's safe, you know, like, and you keep saying the same thing over and over, but it's in a different way, right? So that's what we want to do with that statement is like, just give the high level things. So what I would encourage you to do is I would actually make a duplicatable guide. Like this guide, anybody could implement this and see the same results. So in that guide, you're going to share your t-shirt person. You're going to share how you made the designs. You're going to share it. And then find an organization. I would say, see if you can find an organization that would be interested in duplicating this process. And now is a great time to do it because people aren't meeting in person. So it's a great opportunity to gather, you know, high school organizations where they might not be meeting, but they still want to continue the National Honor Society or something, or things like that, that they could separate, divide and conquer and say, okay, you take task number one, you take task, and all they do is they look at it and they just they just follow it. So you're solving a couple problems. The first main problem that you're solving is the fact that children need education through scholarships. That's the obvious one. But the other thing is that not a lot of people know how to raise funds. And while there's many of us out here who want to give to a good cause, if the t-shirt lady doesn't show up to my front door, I don't know that there's t-shirts for sale, you know? So they might never get sold to me, you know? So it's like, if some people don't, but if somebody walked through your thing in San Diego and they created a Poshmark account or they created whatever to go door to door or whatever and selling t-shirts, now all of a sudden, it is able to create a movement, right? And I love the idea of the silent auction, but I would not stop the t-shirt thing. I would actually encourage you to take the t-shirt thing to the next level, whatever that might be. So maybe you sell these shirts on Etsy, you know, and you do an Etsy store and you start to get more like that. Maybe you sell the t-shirts in person at, you know, once we're able to be in person again, at like a farmer's market, you know. You get a booth and you start to, or perhaps there's a local boutique in your area that would be willing to carry them with a little note that says what this cause is for, you know? So I would say, let's see if we can really take that to the next level so that then, because you'll be able to teach people how to do it for $1,000, but what if we could teach people how to do it for $10,000? You know, that would be amazing, you know? Silent auction, same thing. I bet you'll be able to do that version 1 and you'll be like, okay, next year we're doing it again and it's going to be even better, you know? I would say for you, a realistic goal would be maybe $10,000 in the course of your year as a title, as your state title holder. I think that you could easily shoot for $10,000 and hit it, if not exceed it, in scholarship dollars through both the t-shirt sales, which will continue, and also through the silent auction and through corporate donations. So that's another thing you could create a guide about. You know, if you know this stuff that no one else knows or is willing to think of, you know, put these things together to give them as a resource to, hey, here's how fundraising is done, you know, because now you are taking this out to, you know, training other people and, you know, as you said, like raising. So if you can raise 10 grand and all you have to do is pass the paper to someone else and they can raise 10 grand, all of a sudden that's 20 grand that someone else didn't have, you know, you give 20 scholarships to people, $1,000 each or something, you know?
Yeah.
So cool. Okay. So the answer to your original question was, how do I like say all this stuff in a very short amount of time? So the good news is you come across as very well put together. You come across as ready for the title. You come across as genuine and authentic. You're easy to talk to and all those things. So what's great is that part of communication is just naturally being who you are authentically, because then people will see that. So they'll see that you're ready. They'll see that you look the part. They'll see that you go above and beyond. They'll see that you are sharp and on point. They'll see that you have a calm and confident demeanor. They'll get all of that. You wouldn't have to say, and I'm very confident, because they're like, well, obviously, like we're experiencing you as that, right? So the thing that you'll need to work on is, what are the things that are like the difference between, the way I think about it is, when I tell a story, and I'm a storyteller, like my husband often tells me, Alicia, would you just land the plane already? Because I'll be telling stories like, oh, and then this happened and this, and he's like, get to the point here, like land the plane finally. So I'm like that too. I talk about all kinds of crazy things. So as you're practicing, and I think you have the 10-minute mock interview, is that right? I think you have that from the Win a Pageant program.
Yeah,
okay.
I do.
So that is, it asks you a question and then it gives you 30 minutes or 30 seconds. And then
30 seconds.
30 seconds. So what I would do is and so you'll probably get, let's see, you should be able to get 3 minutes. What is that? Like 6 questions about of them asking the question. And then what I would do is I would just practice learning what does 30 seconds feel like? What does 30 seconds feel like? And that's going to give you that feel of like, okay, I needed to wrap that up. I needed to get to the end of that, right? As you start to kind of trim it down, you'll get into a better and better place of like, okay, now I can deliver this. I would like to actually practice with you. Are you open to practicing right now?
Sure.
Okay, let's do it. So the great thing about practice is that usually it sucks the first like 6 times. It's going to be terrible. For like 6, maybe 7 times, it's going to be terrible. And then it gets better and better and better, okay? So I'm going to time you. We're going to do 30 seconds. And I'm just going to have you tell me about empowerment through education. Just get whatever you can out in 30 seconds. We're not going to critique it at all because it's going to be terrible, okay? And that's fine. And then we're going to do it again. And it's going to be a little bit better, but it's still going to be pretty bad. And then we're going to do it again. And then I'm going to start giving you feedback. Does this sound good? So mess it up as much as you want the first couple times. Okay, hang on. Let me go get my online stopwatch up here, so I can time you. And this is something that you could do at home as well. Just set your timer and set it for 30 seconds, and just be like, okay, here we go. All right. So the question that you're basically responding to is, tell me about your platform. That's essentially what you're sharing. And every time that you do this, it's okay if it's a little bit different, and it's going to be a little bit different every time. That is fine. And if you screw up, just keep yakking about whatever, and eventually the 30 seconds will end and we'll get to start over again. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, here we go. 30 seconds starts now. So tell me about your platform.
Well, I grew up in a very low income, and I needed money for scholarships and to go to college to become a nurse. And I later became involved with an organization that helped me with low-income girls. And I thought, what a great opportunity to give back the scholarships that I received. And I developed a scholarship for them, making and designed T-shirts. And they have great positive messages. One of them called Love Yourself. And I wanted to spread this around.
That's the end of 30 seconds. Yep.
Oh,
so it's fine. Remember, we're not going to judge this one. That was going to be terrible. We knew that was going to be bad. Let's do it again. Okay, starting over from the beginning. Okay, so tell me about your platform.
My platform is I developed a scholarship for low-income girls, as I was a low-income person myself, and I wanted to give back a scholarship. So I designed T-shirts. This is going to be so bad.
That's okay. Keep going. Just keep talking, or I'm going to make you do this one over again. All right.
And I raised $1,000 for these scholarships, and this is going to go to a girl in need to whatever secondary education she wants, whether that be a technical school, college, or cosmetology.
Excellent. That was good. So believe it or not, you ended at about 33 seconds. But if we would have removed your 3 seconds of, oh, this is going so bad, then you would have nailed the 30 seconds. All right, we're going to do it again, and this one we're actually going to talk about. Okay, here we go. Tell me about your platform.
My platform is to raise money for your scholarships. I developed and organized T-shirts that geez, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Oh my gosh. I made T-shirts, and I raised $1,000 for a girl in need, and they can go to her college, secondary education, technical school, or cosmetology school.
Great, good job.
So bad.
Yeah, it's fine. You did 3 terrible ones. You still get 3 more terrible ones. That's the great part about this. But let me critique you. Let me give you some feedback. Okay,
yes, please.
So, so empowerment through education is actually a fundraising initiative, right? You're raising funds
Right.
for scholarship dollars. So that's kind of the overarching umbrella that we've got to communicate first, just to make sure that you get that in the 30 seconds. That this is empowerment through education is all about giving scholarship dollars to low-income families. I got my education, you could say it this way, I got my education strictly through scholarship dollars, or exclusively, or only because of scholarship dollars that I received. So I've done, I want to say like a fundraising, I want to give it a thing like a fundraising initiative or like a fundraising project. So I created a project to raise funds through t-shirt sales and was able to give $1,000 to a girl in my community for her schooling. And then boom, you could leave it at that. So now you've piqued their interest in, wait, you did t-shirts and raised money, $1,000, that sounds cool. Where did you find this girl? So now they're willing to ask you, now they're like, oh, well, where is this girl from? Oh, well, actually I partner with this organization that works with these age ranges and la la la. And so that's what, well, how did you design the t-shirts? Oh, well, yeah, I use my creativity and here's what so you're opening up that, you know how in the game plan, we talk about conversation loops where we don't want to tell them the whole thing. Exactly. We want to open something up so that they're like, oh, I want to walk through that door, you know? So empowerment through education is a fundraising initiative to develop scholarships for low-income students. I myself had to use scholarships for my own education, and I want to give that back to the community now. I was able to do a fundraising initiative where I sold t-shirts and raised $1,000 for a scholarship that we're going to be blessing a student with this August. Okay? Something
How do you do that so easily?
So you know what? You know what really has helped me is, and you see I keep looking down. I keep looking because I have my notes down here. So I kind of, in my mind's eye, I'm even kind of saying like, okay, I have the title of your platform here. And then I've, like in my mind's eye, I have like this archway like this, which on it says fundraising for scholarship dollars. So I'm like saying the title and then I'm like fundraising for scholarship dollars. And then in my mind's eye, I have an image over here of t-shirts and then an arrow to like $1,000. So in my mind, I'm able to say like, okay, this is that, and then I covered this, and then this is, and then that. And you could put your own face in the middle of there. So like then I'm going to tell my story and then go from here to there, and then that's it. So you could literally write that down. Like you could be like, all right, what is the thing that I want this to look like? And you create I do this a lot when I work with people who have platforms that have like the 3 pillars or the 4 points or things like that. Then we draw it. So we draw it out. Where are your 4 points? What's in the top left corner? What's in the bottom right corner? Like we draw it out so that when you're on stage and everything's like nerve-wracking, you can see it in your mind's eye. So it's like boom, 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 boom. Like it's very clear, you know?
Yes.
We're going to try it again. Okay? 30 seconds. And it's probably going to be terrible again, and that's fine. Because this is only your, 4th time. So it's okay to be terrible.
Okay.
You ready?
Oh, is it going? Oh,
I'll start with the question. Okay. So you have like a timer. Okay. So tell me about your platform.
My platform is Empowerment Through Education. It is a fundraiser initiative that I've developed t-shirts to sell. And I wanted to give back to low-income families as I myself was a low-income student. And that's how I received scholarship funding for my schooling. And I was able to raise $1,000 to give for the scholarship for a lucky girl in need.
Stop it. 27 seconds. Look how good that was. Look how good that was. That was not even terrible. That was almost excellent. Look at that. That was so good. We're going to do it again, okay? Because now we're on a roll. And it's going to come out different. And that's no, but it's going to. I want it to come out different. Okay, because you need to be able to say this to somebody if they are interviewing you on the Today Show.
Right.
I want you to be able to say it. But if you are at a cocktail party and someone's like, oh well, don't they have platforms and pageants? Do you have one of those? I want you to be like, oh yeah, here's what it's not just about in the interview room. It's about all those other things. It's about the little girl who's 13 years old and she's like, oh, I'm competing in a pageant. We have a platform. Here, I'm going to tell you about mine. Tell me about yours. And you're like, well, I have one too. Yeah, here's what it is. Like, it's going to sound different every time you say it. So don't worry about, in fact, I don't want you to memorize it because then it's going to come off funny. But you can do the mind map where you like organize things in your brain. Then it'll be easier to flow. All right, so let's try it. Okay, so tell me about your platform.
Well, my platform is Empowerment Through Education. It is a fundraiser initiative that I started. I designed t-shirts that I wanted to sell in order to raise money for scholarships. And I was able to raise $1,000 for a scholarship for a low-income student, as I myself was a low-income student, and I wanted to give back to my community.
That was 23 seconds. Look at how much, this is getting great. And you're still saying all the things. It's a fundraising initiative. I was able to sell t-shirts. I was able to make this much money. Da-doom. It's like, bam. This is so good. See, this is all you needed. This is so great. I love this. I'm so happy that you're doing great. This is wonderful. So now here's your homework, okay?
Okay.
You're going to, first I want you to think about this specific thing, and I want you to create the mind, like, thing. I guess, what are we calling that? Like the visual. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, what's the picture in your head look like? And keep it very simple, okay? But so I want you to actually make a picture, put it on the paper, like draw it out and stick it somewhere. Stick it anywhere in your house, like, or everywhere in your house, so that you can start to be like, okay, and every time you see it, say it out loud. Okay, this is an initiative, and it's going to be different every time, and I want it to be different every time. You're not memorizing anything, okay? Because then it's going to come off stiff. Because you're already very polished. So this is feedback I got often in pageant competition, was that I came off robotic because I was naturally polished. So I don't say a lot of ums and ahs and have natural tendencies like that. I just speak slowly, I speak clearly, and people were like, that is robotic. Like, you need to get more human there. So that's why I'm saying don't memorize it, because if you memorize it, that's going to be even more robotic. Okay, so we don't want that. So you're going to make this. Then I want you to think about the other things in your pageant prep that you also are going to have to say. Like, for example, you're going to have to answer, why do you want to win this pageant? You're going to have to answer that question. So I want you to create a mind image that you can put in your brain. I want you to create that for that answer. And you're going to start practicing that one as well. And there might be others, like you're definitely going to be asked about your family. So tell us about Walt. You're going to get like, oh, so tell us about your husband. So then you're going to have to tell, and you're going to want to gush and tell all the sweet little details, right. But you got to tell the highlights, right? So you got to give the highlights, and it's okay. Like, as you do this, what you'll discover is that you get really good at making it tight. Once you know you can make it tight, then you can choose one of those elements to go deep on. So you can then say, like, okay, my platform is about this, and so then you like do the overarching thing, then you do the fundraising thing, then you do here's what it used to be like for me, and so I want to give back to my community. And then you might be like, I'm going to say more about that. And you might be like, in fact, I've already partnered with an organization and I cannot wait. We are actually going to choose our winner in August. We're so excited to tell her. All of us are just glowing. So now you're sharing, right? Exactly. So now you're sharing like this detail that's very detailed, but you've hopped through all the mountaintops. Now you can get into a valley, instead of going into every single valley. The hike will take so much longer if you could just skip through the highlights, right? Okay, so you got your homework.
Great. Yes.
Good. How does this feel for you?
This is really, really good. Like,
good.
I'm going to book to see you again.
Yay, good. I would love that. Awesome.
So.
Yeah, and we'll be practicing more. Keep practicing, because look how good it got. We screwed up the first few, and then it got good. So that is what practice is all about. Yeah. Ooh. Wasn't that good stuff? Oh, I hope you learned so much from her. I know I had so much fun doing this strategy call with her, as we usually do. It's fun. So 2 things. If you need to hear more of these strategy sessions, because they're so good and you can learn so much from them, then just search strategy sessions, because I have a few more clients that also agreed to be recorded. So you'll be able to look at the behind the scenes of their calls as well. And then if you are ready to schedule your strategy session, you can go to winapageant.com/coaching. That's going to take you to my calendar so you can see what appointments are available and when you can book yours. And you'll also see pricing options there, which types of calls are available and how much do each of them cost. And you can book your call directly from there. I cannot wait to work with you. Head over to winapageant.com/coaching to check it out. I'll see you next time.